butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
All right, calling to order Historic Landmarks Commission, April 22nd, 2026. All right, let's start with a roll call.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. I'll begin with Chair Grumbine.
Present.
It looks like Vice Chair Uli is not here. Commissioner Butler?
Here.
Commissioner Ensberg?
Present.
Commissioner Lenvik?
Yes, here.
Commissioner Lodge?
Here.
And Commissioner McClure?
Here.
We have quorum. Thank you.
All right, so now let's go to item A, public comment. Any member of the public may address the commission for up to 2 minutes on any subject within our jurisdiction that is not scheduled on this agenda for public discussion.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, we don't have anyone in the room with us, so I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment. We don't have anyone online with us, and we didn't receive any written correspondence under general, so I'll give it back to you.
All right. So then we're on to item B, approval of the minutes. We'll close public comment. On to item B, approval of the minutes of Historic Landmarks Commission meeting of April 8th, 2026.
So moved.
All right, have a motion? Have a second? Second? Want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right, great. And then, so under discussion, any edits, et cetera? All right, all good? Okay, let's have a roll call vote then.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Abstain.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right. On to item C, approval of the minutes of Historic Landmarks Commission consent meeting of April 8th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right.
I'll second those.
All right, a second. All right. Under discussion, any edits, et cetera? Or questions or anything? All right. Let's have a roll call vote then.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Abstain.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On to item D, ratification of action taken on the consent calendar of April 22nd, 2026.
Thank you. I'm just going to call out the items. These are posted on the full agenda for today's hearing. Item A at 1525 Santa Barbara Street was granted project design approval and continued to staff for final approval. Item B at 222 West Carrillo Street was granted project design approval and final approval as submitted. Item C at 223 East De La Guerra Street was granted project design approval and final approval continued to staff. Item D, 401 State Street, was granted both project design and final approval as submitted. And item E, 5 West Canon Perdido Street, was granted project design and final approval with comments. And item F at 1014 Santa Barbara Street was granted project design and final approval as submitted. And that's it.
All right, a nice full consent calendar. All right, any questions before we have a vote to ratify the actions taken? All right, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, on to item E, announcements, requests by applicants for continuances and withdrawals, future agenda items, and appeals. So to staff.
I have no announcements to make. Thank you.
All right. Other, all the things. All right. I have announced that I have to leave by 4 o'clock, but if we're still here at 4 o'clock, we're doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong.
It'll be your fault.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
3:45.
3:45, okay. All right, we should be able to do that. All right. On to item F, subcommittee reports. All right. Do we have any subcommittee reports?
Chair Grumbine, I can report on the West Figueroa Paseo is moving along, I'm happy to say, and I talked to Sarah Clark last week, and they have like the big pot is ordered, and they got the paint ordered, and they've got the permit for the demo, and so it's very close. They think within maybe 2 weeks, they'll be able to, they're just doing all the little niggly stuff to get it all ready to go, but I think within a couple of weeks, they'll be moving, and then they'll do that work, and when it's all done, then they can take the fences down, and hopefully it'll be, a nice, improvement.
Absolutely. Thanks.
So, very excited about that.
The fences are historic.
At this point, they are. Anyway, we'll
All
look
right.
forward to that as a kind of an example of how to do something
Yeah.
with not a lot of budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you.
All right, any other subcommittee reports? All right, in that case, we are done with all of our items there, and we are on to item 1, which we are officially 9 minutes ahead, so technically, if the applicant's here, we can start. Do an early start. Were you exhausted from all those consent?
Yeah.
That was a long, that was a long
Hard to get away from the typewriter when you get going.
Yes. All right. So this is item 1, Historic Structures Report for 1617 Olive Street. This is a review of a Phase 1 Historic Resource Report for the Art Moderne Style residence designed by Alex Delfonso in 1939. Requesting acceptance of a Phase 1 Historic Resources Report prepared by Long Historic Preservation Services, LLC. The report concluded the property is not eligible as a historic resource. All right. So with that, if you would state your name for the record, and is there going to be any comments? Should we jump to comments by staff afterwards, and then she can present? Any?
No, I don't believe we
Okay.
have any comments.
Okay, great. So if you could state your name for the record, and then you can present the summary of your report.
Yes, so I am Amber Long with Long Historic Preservation Services, and I will be items 1 and 2 today. So we are looking at Olive Street, which is a duplex on the Upper East neighborhood, built in 1936. And just to give everyone a sense of, where we are, the Riviera, Lower Riviera starts on the other side of the street, so we're right between those two. The neighborhood is characterized by an eclectic mix of colonial revival, craftsman, Queen Anne, Victorian, and vernacular style houses. The duplex was designed in the Art Moderne style, except that it has a traditional pitched roof and overhanging eaves, which was stated in the newspaper. They thought it would soften the modern style. You can see here that the front elevation is hard to see because there's dense vegetation. In the left photo, though, you see the cylindrical mass with the 5-part window, which really is what tells us this is an Art Moderne style building. And then on the right, you can see the pairs of windows that meet at the edge of the building. Let's see. So this is supposed to be the southeast elevation. It's the shorter side on the right. It's right up against the vegetation, so difficult to photograph here. The southwest elevation is the rear of the building. There does look to be a seam under the top windows that indicates some kind of event, but I couldn't determine if there was an addition or a change there. This elevation is mislabeled. My apologies. This is the northwest elevation that faces onto the driveway, and it runs the length of the lot. Through permit applications and historic newspaper photographs, we know that the porch roof was added in 1982, and then the porch railing was originally metal railing, like you see on the stairs, but at some unknown point in time, it became this stucco half wall, if you will. Most of the windows also appear to have been replaced. So the duplex was a rental unit until 1939, and it provided as housing as the county geared for war, country and county geared for war, but its association with the trend is not specific or unique. It was the residence of Anton Zvalanek, who was a well-known farmer in the Lompoc Valley. He actually created new winter-blooming varieties of sweet peas at his farm. However, there is no evidence in the archival record that he lived in the duplex. As we mentioned, the residence is in the Art Moderne style with traditional elements, which is the roof and the eaves. It is the well-known work of architect Alex D'Alfonso. However, it's a very poor representation of the architectural style and of his portfolio in particular. It does not have the potential to yield information important to history or prehistory, and the location is not unique, nor does it represent an established visual feature or neighborhood. So the conclusion today is that it was built in 1936, Art Moderne style. However, it's not significant under any of the criteria at the local, state, or federal level.
All right, thank you. So if that completes your presentation, we will now go to public comment on the historic report.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment, though if anyone would like to speak on this item, you can approach the podium at this time. But I'm not seeing any movement towards the podium, and I would just like to remind the audience that if anyone wants to speak under a different item on today's agenda, that you can fill out a speaker slip on the pink clipboard that's on that wall and bring it up to me, and I will call your name under that item. But since no one wants to speak, and we don't have any participants online, and we didn't receive any written correspondence for this item, I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll go to the commission for any questions on the report.
I have a question.
Okay, and then
let
Commissioner
Charlie-
go
Butler
ahead.
after.
No, you-
No, go ahead.
Okay. Did you see any of the plans? Are there any plans available at the city to look at?
No, there were no plans available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Butler?
Question regarding the architect, Alex. Is there other evidences, or how prolific was his presence in Santa Barbara, do we know?
There are two, I think, that I referenced in the report. One is an old dairy building that is still here and in very good condition. Can't
The
tell you.
cow's not.
Not the cow, not the cow that was on top.
It's turned into hamburger.
I'm sorry.
We're bringing up a,
Because it was a dairy, there was a
I know,
cow.
yeah.
Yeah.
no place for the cow. It came before us
The
at one
green
point.
cow with Don's painted on the side?
Well, it changed color by a
okay.
year as high school students would climb up there and paint it as a tradition.
Glad I brought this home.
So to your point, yes, there are, that is a landmark, a city landmark. So there are some good examples of his architecture.
Thank you.
He's all over the place.
Yep. Other questions?
Yes, I have a question, a couple. Weren't there some pictures of it before? Do I remember seeing them in the report?
There is a newspaper picture in the report, and that is the picture that the caption talked about how the traditional pitched roof and eaves were softening the new modern style.
And didn't that picture show it before that curved element was made stucco?
Yes, so the porch level, the second story,
Had a
it
railing
was,
that was curved, which is more typical of that, which
It
is
was
which is an
curved.
element of that style, right?
yeah, it was a curved metal railing, though, instead of being full stucco.
Right, right.
Yes.
And then were I'm assuming that all the windows were steel probably then as well, originally, but they have been changed?
Yes, that is the understanding. Of course, it's hard to tell from the newspaper photo, but being there in the field, that is what it appeared to be. The one that is original is the 5-part window in that circular area. It has 3 solid panes and then 2 sets of louvers.
And that is a steel window?
Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't have any of those elements anymore because they've been changed over time? So is that part of the reasoning? I'm assuming that it doesn't really hold any kind of value as a historic representation because it's missing all those pieces?
Well, it has the 5-part window and the semicircle. However, it's not what we would consider indicative of the Art Moderne style or a traditional style. And so it's this sort of in-between mix of things. And so since we can't point to it as, oh, it has the majority of the typical character-defining features of one or the other, you know, my analysis would be that it's not significant for its style.
Right.
Yeah.
And not visible from the street?
No, there's lots of vegetation shielding it from the street.
Okay.
You can just see the top of the second floor.
Okay.
All right, one more
Okay.
question here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So in that curved element, it appeared that that window's straight. It's a straight window and a curved, and the
Can you,
curved,
can
is
you
that?
flip back to that picture
Yeah.
real fast?
And then I was going to ask you, would that if it was more authentic, would that have been curved, or is it curved?
It's actually, so it's 5
articulated?
straight panels, but they are,
Faceted.
yeah.
But would it be more authentic if they were truly curved, or is that a factor?
No, I think for the period 1936, we would not have seen that yet. So this would have, that was their attempt at putting something in a curved style.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's go to comments, and then we can go to a motion. So, anyone want to jump in? So we don't have our architecture historian officially, would normally kick us off. Or or both. All right, does anyone want to jump in?
If there are no comments, I'll make a motion that we accept the Phase 1 report and its conclusions for 1617 Olive Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second under discussion. That makes all sense to me too, and the reasoning. All right, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes?
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Excellent report.
All right, yeah, great report. All right, and so we are now 13 minutes ahead of schedule. We're
Let's see
that
if we can
good.
chew that up.
Should we wait 3 minutes, or are we okay with
Within
continuing?
15, right?
Yeah, Chair Grumbine, it's usually a 15-minute grace period that we have. So if we have the current applicant
The
here, we
applicant's
can-
right there.
Perfect. Yeah, we can move on to
Might
item
as well.
2. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so then we will go on to item 2, which is the Historic Structures Report for 204 East Alomar Avenue. And this is a review of a Phase 1 Historic Resource Report for the minimal traditional style residence built in 1947. This is requesting acceptance of a Phase 1 Historic Resource Report prepared by Long Historic Preservation Services. The report concluded that the property is not eligible as a historic resource. All right. So with
Hello
that-
again.
If you would introduce yourself again for the record.
I'm Amber Long with Long Historic Preservation Services. So 204 East Alomar Avenue is a minimal traditional 2-story single-family residence that was built in 1947. This is in the San Roque neighborhood, which is characterized by many minimal traditional style houses on lots that are mostly 50 by 100 feet and moderately set back from the street with sidewalks. Many of the homes in the neighborhood still have a detached garage at the rear of the lot. This is the primary elevation, and I will go into the alterations at the end, but the second story is very clearly an alteration at this point. But this faces onto Alomar Avenue. The north elevation faces onto the driveway. You can see the detached garage in the back. South elevation is the rear of the house with some interesting additions. And then our south elevation is towards the property line, but where you can still see the original chimney. The garage you can't see two sides of it because of fencing and vegetation, but there you have it. So this property has quite a few alterations. To simplify things, I believe that the second floor and that first floor sort of 2-story element rectangle, I believe those were set on top of the original home. There is a aerial, which I believe is in the report, that shows that this had a front-facing gable, which is where we would assume the entry would have been, but the entry now is on the side where the driveway is. You do see on the front elevation, though, that we've got those shutters with the fleur-de-lis element. However, they're not on any other side of the house, so my assumption is that they pulled them from the other sides as they were making changes to put them on the front of the house. On the right is the rear view. So again, we're seeing that second-story element as an addition, and then this pop-out with this sort of bay window type of thing. Those are all additions as well. So there's only a small section of the first floor house that remains, plus we have the shutters. And then most of the double-hung windows have been replaced with aluminum sliding windows, but in the bottom of the right-hand photo, you can see one of the double-hung windows that are left on the building. So this building was built in 1947, and for a very brief time, it was a model home to entice new buyers. It was also used as an address to advertise a building supply company by Claude Coleman. It was extremely brief, and as soon as the house sold, we never see Claude Coleman again in the newspapers or whatnot. So this is related to the World War II housing boom, but there is no specific or unique association. There's nothing to determine that the fact that it was a model home had any particular influence. And again, Claude Coleman basically is not in the record following the sale of the house. It is just associated with Mr. Coleman, who was briefly a developer, but we could not find any more archival information about him or what he did. It's built in the minimal traditional style. This is a case where the alterations essentially obscure the style. And so instead of going a significant but lacks integrity route, I believe that this is just not significant at all. And then it doesn't have the potential to yield the information of history or prehistory, and its location is not unique, and it does not represent an established visual feature. So for those reasons, I recommend it not eligible at the local, state, or federal level.
All right, thank you. All right, so with that, we'll open public comment on this item. Is there any public comment?
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment for this item. We do not have any participants online with us, and we didn't receive any written correspondence for this item, so I'll give it back to you.
All right, great. All right, to the commission for any questions on the report. All right, this is pretty clear. It's about as clear as the fleur-de-lis gets. All right, so let's have a roll call vote. Oh, does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, accept the Phase 1 Historic Resources Report for 204 East Alomar with its conclusions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second under discussion. Any further discussion? All right, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes?
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're so far ahead that I think we need to take a 7-minute break.
Perfect.
And assuming that 101 Garden Street is here, okay, great. We'll take a 7-minute break, and then we can officially start 15 minutes early.
All right, thank you.
All right. order. All right, are we ready to go?
Santa Claus.
All right. Calling back to order Historic Landmarks Commission, April 22nd, 2026. We are on to item 3, which is our last item of the day, which is 101 Garden Street. And this project is, the site is located within the Pueblo Viejo Landmark District. The project consists of the merger of 6 lots, removal of all existing structures, and construction of a new 178,000 square foot hotel containing 250 rooms, 130 extended stay rooms, 120 select service rooms, and 6 affordable housing units, 5 low-income studios, and 1 moderate-income 2-bedroom unit under state density bonus law, and an 85,000 square foot subterranean parking lot on a 4.5-acre site at the southwest corner of Garden and East Yananali Streets. Hotel guest amenities include a library, bar, lounge, 208 square foot market, media salon, meeting rooms, living room, breakfast area, outdoor seating area with spa, courtyard with pool and spa, fitness room, and 7,500 square foot roof deck. The project includes 267 vehicle parking spaces, 238 subterranean and 29 at grade, 52 bicycles parking spaces, 32 subterranean and 20 at grade, and 8 bicycle rental parking spaces. The Planning Commission and the City Council on appeal approved a parking modification, development plan, and coastal development permit, and found that the project qualifies for an exemption from further environmental review under section 15183. Projects consistent with the community plan, general plan, or zoning of the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines. No final appealable action will take place at this meeting. Project received project design approval on July 16th, 2025, which is when it was last reviewed. Proposed revisions involve responses to HLC comments, pool shape, courtyard, landscaping, portico share, mechanical equipment screening, and decorative elements. All right, so with that, well, yes, it is. Welcome, everyone. If you could introduce yourselves for the record, we'll go to staff for comments, and then you'll have 15 minutes to, we'll go to minutes, and then you'll have 15 minutes to go through all your presentation and show us what has changed and how you address the comments. All right, so with that.
My name is David Carbajal, and I'm representing the owner. Happy to be here. I went back and watched the last minutes, and we're very excited to show you what we have going on now.
Brian Cornell.
Logan Cavender.
Lelaine Tanaka with AO Architects. Oh, sorry. Lelaine Tanaka with AO Architects.
Courtney Miller, CJMLA.
All right, so with that to staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carly Ernest. I'm taking over the project from Kathy Kennedy, who has retired, and I'm just here for questions today, but the applicant will review the changes since last time.
All right, great, thank you.
We have a lot of changes. Not have we lost Kathy Kennedy, but the original architect Deloise has been replaced with Architects Orange, and David is the owner's rep, so I thought he would like to make just a few words before we get into the presentation.
Okay.
Before you say the minutes.
Oh, because you're trying to steal those words.
No, you go ahead with the minutes.
Okay. All right. We do have all afternoon, but we're not going to take all afternoon. But,
we have till 5, don't we?
As long as you don't start our 15 minutes
yes,
until
that's
after
right.
you finish talking.
That's right. Let's go to the minutes, and that way it doesn't count as your 15 minutes. Okay. Wait, take a second here.
There we go.
All right. So here we go. This is all right, here we go. Okay, so this was project design approval with the following comments and findings. 1, the Commission appreciates all the hard work on the project and likes the direction to which the design is refining. 2, study the landscape around the old Monterey-style inn with consideration towards integration of older Monterey-style landscape and Monterey cypress trees. 3, study ways to provide differentiation between buildings through elements such as color, texture, windows, and awnings, among other elements. 4, study the idea of the project being built over time. 5, the commission encourages elements such as finials, colored or glazed pots, or other decorative pieces that are meaningful for this building and location to be developed out to provide differentiation. 6, review the design for the portico share in an effort to keep it simple as a trellis or pergola, but strengthening corner supports such as the piers and columns. 7, the commission supports the additional changes made since the last design review, including the changes to the towers. 8, return for an in-progress review before final approval. 9, develop details for screening of utilities. 10, the project compatibility findings have generally been met. As follows, the project's design is consistent with the design guidelines.
Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
blah, blah. Yes. The motion was, the amount of open space and landscaping is appropriate, and then the motion was by Uli, second was by Butler, 7-0-0. Drury and McClure were absent. The motion carried. All right. So with that, now you can have, feel free to say some words. And
Yeah, so it,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have asked. So Commissioner McClure, and did you watch the, oh, you were the second to the motion, okay. All right, never mind, you were better have been there. Okay, all right. And then Commissioner Lodge, were you
I was here.
Yeah, you were there at that point, okay, great.
she was here, I saw her on the video. So we did make a change with Architect Orange, and we're very excited with the change. Looking forward to presenting some great design upgrades is what I call them. Looking forward to your feedback. We want to build and have this beautiful hotel in Santa Barbara because it looks like Santa Barbara, so we absolutely lean on you guys to help us maintain that.
All right, thank you.
So I think what we're going to do is start with the site plan, and I think Courtney's going to review a few important changes to the site plan that definitely are improvements. So Courtney?
Thanks, Brian. Happy to be here. We have made a number of changes to the site. Generally, it's the same, and we've made refinements to a couple of areas. So on the top plan left, what we're calling the event lawn, minor changes there. We've made it feel, I would say, overall more gardeny. The lawn used to be a rectangle, so it's less formal. More flexible for different sized events. And then the space adjacent now has a fountain and previously had a spa, which was a little bit awkward to fit between a lounge and an event space, event lawn. So that's one change. And then in the pool area, we have adjusted the shape of the pool, its configuration, and generally how the courtyard adjacent is organized, and I think that's feeling a lot better now. Also, the pool was previously elevated about 4 feet above the adjacent courtyard. We've since flattened everything out, so that now can depress down into the parking garage below, and it's much better design overall. And then improvements in the Cypress courtyard to the plan right, adjacent to the Monterey building. So, and wonderful architectural refinements throughout.
Do you have blow-ups of those?
We do, but I think let's go to the
They're
next.
further down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I should also mention, we had a stairway coming off the pool area from between the Monterey building and the next building to the left, and that's been eliminated, which really helped create more space with that Monterey. So what we want to do, I think, is just go through sort of your PDA renders and show you on the new renders what we have worked on. I will say that Architects Orange has worked very hard to catch up on this, and obviously they've got a lot of work to do, but it's been a pleasure working with them and trying to refine things. So on the lower is the PDA, and the upper is the proposed. The primary thing we've done here, besides the landscape improvements next to the Monterey, which were mentioned in your minutes, and I think Courtney's going to talk to later, is we decided that gable end element was just a little bit too obtrusive, so we just simplified it and created a hip roof there just to simplify. And again, the story of this is the Monterey was first, and then this little building next to it was added on, and I think it just made it secondary and felt a lot better. Next. So in this area, the primary thing we did is to get rid of that wood balcony element that was there to the left of the entry porte cochere and created an archway, kind of an arcade, which feels a lot better. And this is the sort of the pedestrian entrance to the hotel. We also opted to go to an actual roof, a trussed gable roof over that. It just felt better. And, you know, otherwise, and obviously we've improved the columns as was in your comments. So that, I think, has been also an improvement to this. And here you can see in the lower area, the tower has been just slightly refined. It was a little bit spindly and tall, and so we've sort of made it a little more compact and created a little architectural element at the corners. We can talk more about that. This area is that area that Courtney first described, and so I think from a landscaping standpoint, it's going to be superior to what we had before. We have removed some of the chimneys that were just false chimneys, just simply to keep things simple. We can talk more about that, but you can see that's really the other primary change in this view. And we also created a little more space over the arches in that bar area. Next slide. From the railroad side, we eliminated the trellis there on the left that was at the third floor, just to keep that simple. You can see the different tower element, and again, that one little chimney element we've removed. Next slide. On this elevation, really, again, there was a large chimney there that we've eliminated, and you can see we kind of added arches, which emulate arches I didn't point out on the Garden Street side, but it kind of picked up that same theme. This, again, this building closest to the tracks or to the ocean is sort of that third phase from a historic standpoint of this hotel, theoretically, and so we kind of wanted to match that detailing. And then I think we've got, I think we've also got stone walls at the base of this along Santa Barbara Street. This is the Yananali side, so before is below. Again, not a lot of change here, just sort of simplified. We got rid of that little stepped balcony at the upper floor. Raise that roof element slightly, just refine that stairway a little bit to be more of a plaster as opposed to wood and plaster element. And again, this whole side will have really beautiful natural stone walls sort of surrounding that Monterey piece. And this does also reflect some of the refinements, which I'll let Courtney talk about, as far as the landscape and the actual planting that we are proposing at this stage. So these are just the elevations to look at, where we again have done this as a side-by-side comparison. We do have, you can see we obviously have the vent elements at each room. That is going to be an important detail that I think we'll have to return with you. We'll continue to work with the mechanical engineer to minimize the size of those, but ultimately those are just going to be painted out and really hopefully disappear. You can see on the right the change from the sort of wood balcony element to that more, I think, appropriate arched arcade. And so that, I think, works better with this new entry element. This is the elevation along Garden. You know, this is obviously a large hotel. I don't think you'll ever see it in elevation like this. That's why the renders are important. But not a lot of change here, but you can see what I was talking about there on the left of the upper, where we've sort of repeated that arched balcony element on both sides of this portion of the hotel. Then the Monterey side, before and after. I think there's a little missing roof, actually, that we've got there on the top, because that is a hip roof that I'm not seeing, but,
That was
That's just a little
a
graphic.
glitch.
Yeah.
on our
Yeah.
It
thing.
happens,
It does continue
right.
down.
but here, this shows how that gabled element has been removed to just create a simple hip. And by the way, the colors of this portion of the hotel, the Monterey will be one color, sort of a taupe color, and then the rest of the plaster portions will be sort of an off-white. And then you can see we've eliminated some of the wrought iron and wood railing on that stair element and just gone with plaster. This is the back of the hotel and off of that surface parking lot. So this faces the buildings that face onto Santa Barbara Street. So really not visible, certainly not visible like this. You can see just a little refinement of the detailing. You know, some of this, again, has just been simplifying, but open to your comments. And then this is, again, facing the parking lot for the portion that's off of Santa Barbara Street. So again, a facade you don't see much of, but carried that arch, the arched on the third floor balcony elements around. And then this is actually the railroad street or railroad side elevation. So you can see the slight modification to the tower element on the top. The trellises have been slightly modified on the roof. That trellised element off of the bar basically changed those balconies a little bit, and there is a fireplace element that we're working on that isn't showing there. That'll be a nice element that's forward of that trellis. And this portion of the building that we were just looking at, that's going to be a white, all white. It doesn't really look white in that upper, but that is what the plan is. And then these are the courtyard elevations. So instead of just that continuous balcony that you see below and the PDA, we've kind of changed that a little bit and created a little more interest. That little archway you see at the first floor portion is actually the main corridor going back to bathrooms that serve the pool, so we kind of mix that little elevation up. And then this is, see, I told you it's big. This is the courtyard elevation facing east, basically. So again, off of that pool. So the pool is there where those balconies are in the middle. And now we'll go back to Courtney.
Why don't we go to the next page, I think. Yeah, so generally, this is our materials board. Not a lot of changes. Along the top on the right, we have fences and gates. We're looking at a unique wood gate specific to the Monterey building courtyard. And then special paving for that area too. Let's go to the next page. This is that, southerly event lawn area. So you can see the round fountain to the plan right. We have that in a little DG courtyard. And the lawn itself will be enclosed with a hedge. And the shape is, we've gone through every shape on this lawn since in the last however many years. And I think this one's the best yet. It's not forcing a rectangle and a, formal symmetrical shape into where it doesn't belong. So that's feeling much better. And we've added another exit path with the DG just straight out to Garden Street. Next. Pool area, as I mentioned, the pool is now level with the courtyard to the plan left. That did a few things. It allowed us just a better experience overall, but the pool's adjacency to the guest patios on either side is now much better. We were able to get more planting around the pool. slightly larger patios, and the shape, previously we had kind of like a scallop, I don't know what to call it, it was rounded on one end, and felt not right to me. And keeping it clean and simple with a rectangle feels right again. The space to the left, we have a nice big planter with a tree kind of at this node intersection where the entry points occur in that courtyard. And previously the pool was kind of jutting into where that big tree was, so this overall is feeling much more balanced. The space to the right, Cypress Courtyard, this is adjacent to, attached to the Monterey style building, and we have this cute little kind of walled garden, and within that we've introduced a labyrinth as an element there. So we're excited about that.
Then, as I mentioned before, we had to have a whole ramp system going up where you see those 3 palm trees between the Monterey and the other buildings, and so that's all been eliminated, which has really helped us to plant in that area, which was vital, I think, to giving more space to the Monterey.
Yeah, let's keep going. We're short on time.
This is really materials, if you want to go on to the next page. This is talking about the materials on the Monterey, where we're using a smooth, bumpy trowel finish on the stucco. The windows will have a color to them, which is kind of the sage green, and then the overall stucco color will have that beige color. And this is in conjunction with a clay tile roof that has some boosting on it, and showing some of the mortar infill. And then we've included the landscape that becomes part of this whole Monterey zone.
Yeah, the gate there, we have 2 images. We like them both. We haven't, we're going to be developing that detail, so we'd love feedback on that. But the idea is to have wood here, and everywhere else we have wrought iron. So, and with the brick paving, same. We have a wire cut brick elsewhere throughout the property. Here it's going to be probably a sand mold or tumbled, something with a lot more age on it, and the color doesn't look right on that screen, but it's more like a ruddy kind of earth tone in the brick. Plant palette, I could talk a lot about this, but maybe I'll elaborate more in the questions. But deep dive into all of our historic garden books. And the palette here is only what you're looking at on the screen. This is only around the Monterey building. All plants that were actually available in the period of significance, and the trees will be much larger and more specimen, gnarly kind of aged look throughout. So next.
So this is the second zone, which is kind of working its way over time, starting with the Monterey and now this one. The materials here would be the wrought iron that you see there with some tile, decorative tile finishes like in the arches or even locations near the doors. We have some awnings that are probably not a fabric awning, but a metal awning with the arrow stanchions. The roof tile would be a 2-piece clay tile roof. There's also the rough sawn rafter tails that we're going to be putting on there, but with a darker color. And then, of course, the decorative tile on those 2 stairs that we have. And then the third zone, which is the AC Hotel, would have a little bit more of a different type of coloration. The aluminum-clad windows would be a darker bronze brown, and then the railing would also be different, and the color of the awnings that we've included are also different. On the previous one, the awnings have a darker brown, but on this one we're going to be putting almost like a patina green copper-looking metal finish.
I wanted to add here also the pots. This building, the interiors, are reading more modern, and so we really were looking for more subtle color tones throughout. And I know there was a comment about introducing colorful glazed pots. I feel pretty strongly that's not appropriate here. So we have a couple of ideas there and would love some feedback on that too.
And that's it?
All right. And actually, can you go back to that? Is it that I just want to confirm the details page that you just had?
Yeah, we do have some details
Yeah.
just to look at, just the
Sure,
beginnings
okay.
of details.
Yeah, so we can maybe flip through those as well, considering we have lots of extra
Yeah,
time.
what-
Sure.
Yeah, what you're seeing there on the upper right is the intent for the separations, because the Monterey balcony, of course, has the rooms facing out onto it, so this would be the separation between those rooms. It would be wood.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, go ahead and keep going.
I think that's
Is
it,
that
right?
it?
Those are
Okay.
just-
Well, we can
those are just
go one thing,
floor
keep going,
plans.
because we've got a garage plan, right? This
Oh, yeah.
illustrates on the garage how we've managed to change the configuration so that we can get that pool down into the ground, which is really a big move.
Yeah.
Convertibles only parking beneath.
No, it's all,
Yeah.
it's all the way to the ground.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we can look at the plans, but I think maybe go back to the site plan and we can go from there, okay?
Okay. All right, so if that completes your presentation,
Yes.
let's go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment. We do not have anybody online with us, although I will acknowledge that we received written correspondence from Steve Johnson this morning and give it back to you.
All right, so to the commission for any questions. Commissioner Lodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It says Cypress on the corner by the Monterey style building. And is that Monterey cypress or Italian cypress?
Monterey cypress.
Okay, good.
And we have what size is it? 72. We have a 72-inch box Monterey cypress planned for the corner there. Just one. And you can see it there, just,
Right here.
yeah.
What is the street tree on the Internolie?
Ooh. Metrosideros for the street tree there.
In English?
New Zealand Christmas tree.
Okay.
It's a silvery, gray-green leaf and the red poofy kind of flowers.
Okay, that's better English. Yeah, I actually got a D- in Latin. So for the record.
At least you took it.
Yeah. All right. Other questions? Mm-hmm. Commissioner Butler.
So just for confirmation, so nothing has changed in the number of rooms or anything? This is strictly addressing the exterior, correct? I mean, it originally was 250 rooms for the hotel, 6 affordable housing units. So that's all status and that's all static. No spa. I'm just trying to catch up here a little bit to make sure.
Well,
The spa's been
there-
eliminated, but there's a little spa next to the pool.
Originally, we had 2 spas, one for the AC and one for the courtyard. Now we just have the one in the courtyard.
Okay. And then the windows in the new version just visually look bigger. Has there been a change in the size of the proposed windows?
A little bit, yes.
Just a little, yeah, it looked like there's more. Are there more windows?
I'm not sure if there
I
was
don't think there's more, but actually, I think it's gone both ways. I think if we went through the elevations again, some of them actually
They looked
shrunk a
a
little
shrunk
bit.
in
Some of them
those
got
areas,
bigger.
yeah.
And I
Well, let's
noticed,
pull up a couple elevations. Just
yeah, and I noticed the number of panes in one of the, it seems to be reduced a little
Maybe
bit.
go to the very first elevation.
So, yeah, you see how the upstairs in the new version, those, maybe it's just, there's
Maybe it's just a
more
rendering.
bigger. It just looks like there's more
Oh, yeah, can you
bigger.
zoom into the?
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
No, they have changed. And again, I want to just reiterate on the elevations here, they, it kind of looks grayish, but that will be a white plaster.
Yeah, the paint.
But you can see some of them actually got smaller. You
yeah.
can see on the, Go back, Logan, sorry.
Somewhere
Go back, Logan.
eliminated.
to
You
the
really
very
notice
far-
it there.
The
That's-
far left underneath that balcony, and then if you go up to the proposed, you can see the proportion of these windows, I think, have improved, actually.
Yeah, okay. And is those, the green, is that awning, is that trying
those
to
are the
just project
canopies.
awning? And these awnings are metal?
Yes, they're all metal,
They're all-
but it would be it's all metal, but different color on this zone versus
Versus,
the other
yeah,
one.
this is the dark,
The dark green,
and then the other one is like
like a,
dark brown?
almost like
or
a
you-
rust
you said
color.
a patent-
Brown
okay,
rust, yeah.
Patina of some kind. I think was my questions.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. I'm not sure you'll ever see those awnings as awnings when you're on the ground. I mean,
Well,
they seem to be
Do we have
relatively
a
shallow
perspective
angle.
of that, actually?
Pardon me?
I want to
Yeah,
get
we
a,
do.
see the perspective and then zoom in. Let's see.
I think back to
Is
the
it
first
zoom?
or second
You can actually
rendering.
touch the screen and use
Oh.
your
I don't
fingers to.
I think
No?
we abandoned
Not-
touchscreen.
not on
Oh,
this
there we go.
laptop.
Let's go to
I'm
that.
not
Reverted
touching.
back to 2005.
Of course, it's
If you use
obscured,
the plus,
zoom in, the plus.
there we go.
it's
Keep going.
obscured
To the
by the
top.
tree, you can see, so.
Yeah, if you hold, if you hold control and then on your mouse, you use the middle wheel to scroll in and out, you can zoom in that way.
Yeah, they don't come off looking as an awning because of the shallow angle of the awning.
You're looking at the bottom.
You're looking at the bottom almost, and maybe you've heard me comment on this before, that awnings should have more drop to them so that they're not, that the flance or the edge is not at the same height as the window, but they're coming down and providing more shade. And I think that may help you to get more angle on them and maybe have them be more of a element on that, on those elevations. You might want to consider that. It's kind of questionable now to me. The other question I have is, you mentioned that you're still trying to resolve these openings for the mechanical equipment on the exterior walls. What is going through your mind as to how you're going to solve that problem? Because this is highly unusual to have us accept major buildings like this with unit air conditioners, whatever, at every room. I don't know what you put in your mind.
I don't know if I agree that it's highly unusual, and unfortunately, these days, we have to have vents. I think the intent here is to first work with the mechanical engineer to minimize it, but I think we are going to have to do some kind of a decorative screen in front of the manufacturer's louver, and make that so it is painted out and just, is not really a visible element. It's an important detail. And
Well, I think the commission should be concerned enough to understand what we're going to be seeing there from a standpoint of equipment on the exterior of the building. Because we may disagree that it's unusual, but I don't think it's the norm on higher-end housing, visitor housing, to have individual units like that. Maybe you can expand the width of the balcony and hide them behind within the balcony enclosure structure. I mean, I'm not sure what else you could do, but it's, to me, it's a concern.
Yeah, and understand, it's not equipment, it is a vent.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing is to make that vent as small as possible and then give it a decorative grill so that it is a detail that flushes out more or less with the plaster and is painted white. I mean, I think that's at least the track that we're on, but it's not sticking out. It's not a piece of equipment that's sticking
So
out.
actually, maybe turn to more of a question. Have you looked at are doing it in plaster, as a plaster grill in front of the unit, and then do what you're saying.
I think the problem with that is because of the amount of air, that would just become that much bigger. I mean, as it is, I think we're going to have to find a grill that doesn't obstruct, too much air so that that thing doesn't become big. That's the challenge that we're working on right now.
We're researching right now to try to find, we all want the same thing.
Yeah, to go away.
Camouflaged, practical solution.
Okay. All right, other questions? Commissioner?
Whatever.
Commissioner Leclerc?
Okay. Could you go to the plan view on the blow-up of the pool area? And I'm questioning the fencing location. And I always feel bad when pools have to be fenced so right around the pool. But could you describe where the fencing really is?
There you go.
It's not the dashed lines, is it? Or?
It's no, those are the clear zones around the pool. The fence is actually just right where that hedge is shown.
Okay, so that's all
Yeah.
open area.
I can
What are the
kinda
dashed
show you.
lines?
The dash lines are the clear zone required around the pool for accessibility, but it's here. And
Yeah,
so the
sure.
intent is it's just
Okay.
kind of hidden.
That's what, I was just thrown by
there.
the dash line.
Yeah.
Let's see, then, the pool area is, I don't know, this is not our purview, but the whole pool area and outdoor space for the guests seems small. But I guess that's just well, that's not a question, but I don't know. And that's your business.
Doesn't it?
Well, do you, okay.
Big hotel. There's not that much common space.
Should I
it
give a
seems.
non-answer to your
Yeah,
question?
I suppose, I mean, obviously you know what you're doing, but
Yeah.
to me it
Yeah, I
seems
mean, the
small.
reality is this is, there's only so much space, and that's what it.
So you expect that a client's supposed to venture out into the beach in the city? And kind of-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I think it's vastly more gracious now that it's
Okay.
not raised 4 feet in the air.
Yeah. I'll add to just, the client did prioritize having slightly larger guest room, private patios here versus more chaise lounges around the pool. And so that, we're nudging around inches at this point to get it
And then I
right.
have another sort of question. The spires on the top of the highest elements, are those just ornamental or are those actually lightning rods? Just curious.
No, they're not
finials,
ornamental.
yeah.
I mean, I guess we might have lightning sometimes.
Those may be a little too tall than what we've
Okay,
selected.
and then I like the grove of Mexican fan palms, the Mexican blues that you had before, and it's gone. But again, these aren't great big points, but I love those palms, and especially in mass. But did you decide to get rid of those for a particular reason?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the plan because I think I love those too. And ultimately, it was a much more formal design. And so we had those kind of lining both sides of the lawn. We couldn't make it work with the space and with the programming needs. We still do have blue palms around this. Can you hold down control for a second? Here. So that's what these are here. And so the plant palette is different in this area, still has a lot of blue in there.
Okay, and then can you remind me, I forgot, why there's no trees on the Garden Street? Is that a wet zone or?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
I meant
that's
to
a
mention that, I
So you
apologize.
can't have any trees.
So hold down control again. So we do have a habitat restoration as part of this project. So this whole entire area that's just a solid green, we have separate plans. They're in the full technical set. We can pull them up. Habitat restoration, there's an existing oak, and it'll be 100% native plants.
It's a nice
there.
buffer.
So, yeah, very deep buffer.
That's all my questions.
I have another question. Is there no restaurant in this hotel?
There is some food service for guests only.
Only, right.
And that was, again, a condition of the project as it went through, all the way through the process.
And that is vented, there are no rooms above it then?
There are, yeah. I
And
mean,
is it-
I think it's just a small.
It's a limited.
Limited food service. Again, we were unable to, because of traffic and parking, we were unable to do anything that would be an amenity for the community, unfortunately. I think they'd love to have that, but we can't do it after multiple appeals and coastal commission appeal and courts and everything else.
Is that how you got your beard so long?
No, that's because of the election.
All right, other questions?
I have another question.
Another question? Commissioner Butler?
Sorry, let
Oh, wait, did you, so did you?
beauty before age.
I guess I, go, did you?
No, I'm through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess, so, this is a big hotel. It's big, there's a lot of rooms. So how do you think of it? Do you think of this like a resort hotel? Do you think of it like that?
Well, I mean, it's important to remember that one of the real obstacles of this hotel was the Coastal Commission and the fact that they wanted this to be a moderate-priced hotel. And so that was an agreement that Dauntless made with the coastal staff. So this has to be priced at a certain level, and no, it is not by any means a resort. I think the story we told about this was that the little Monterey was built first, and then there was a little hotel added, and it eventually became more of a, a grand hotel. But from a practical operational standpoint, no, it's not a resort hotel.
Well, I don't, maybe the word resort isn't the right word, because certainly we have lots of very tiny little hotels around town that have, big pools and, so you could call them. I mean, a resort is kind of a place where you go on vacation, and it's a place to play and to be happy and to, go to the bar and go to the pool and, play around, right? So whether you want to call it a resort or not, I mean, I think you can go to Glacier National Park and stay in some of those places, and the rooms are not exorbitantly expensive. So maybe that's the wrong word. I'm just trying to understand who the clientele and what are they doing there, and how, like you were saying, I agree. The pool kind of, it does seem very small to me. If you are a family coming there and your kids are going to be in the pool, so I'm trying to understand that.
Well, I mean, I think, there's two portions here, right? There's what's called the AC, which are more typical hotel rooms, and then there is the larger areas where there are suites and more of a family kind of hotel where the pool is. I mean, look, I think in reality, the amenity here is Santa Barbara and the beach and the waterfront. Right? I mean, I think, and then people are going to be leaving this hotel and walking in through the funk zone, walking down along Cabrillo, that's what is going to happen.
And to be considered a resort or a full-service hotel, you would need a full 24-hour restaurant also, which we don't have. It's really catered to the business and to short-term stays here.
But you do have extended stay rooms here.
Yes.
Which indicates a family or something is going to be there for, all day long, 3 or 4 days.
Sure.
Yeah, and I just don't want to give comments that are inappropriate. I want to be sure I understand what it's trying to be and what it looks like versus what it, people drive by, they think one thing, it draws you in, you see something, you go, oh, let's stay there, So the building itself is signage, right? We all know that. So there's a lot of things about it that I just am wondering or questioning, what's the attraction, who you're trying to attract, and how will those people be attracted there? And certainly every place in Santa Barbara always, you're here for the environment, the full environment, aren't you? This question.
Yeah, no, I think we're looking for it would be a mix, right? Like as Brian mentioned, there is the kind of longer term, families may stay, but that idea is that they're out at the beach all day, to the point where we're even incorporating like a foot wash before you walk back from the beach. So that's the main expectation, is that you're hanging out at the beach all day, and then few of those people would come back and maybe want to lounge around the pool after the fact, but it would be a mix. And then on the AC side, which is that top left corner portion, it would be, maybe couples or, a businessman traveling and going to meetings during the day. So it's a variance of both.
Okay, well,
I don't know if
thank
that
you.
helps.
It's a lot to
And we're
get.
trying to, capture both. That's like the intent. I don't know if it answers your question.
No, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Commissioner
Sorry,
Butler?
I just had
And then
one.
then Commissioner
Go ahead,
McClure.
did you?
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner Butler, then Commissioner McClure.
8 bicycle rental spaces, is that the same? Has that remained in this design?
Yeah, we haven't changed it
I don't
at
think
all.
it's,
We have
yeah.
not, we didn't choose it. There's some up top, and then there's bicycle storage, I believe, down in the parking garage.
Sorry, so,
I don't think it's changed
We
from
haven't changed
the
it.
original.
okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Commissioner
so,
McClure?
question, so a visitor comes in, they're gonna park underneath the building, so they're gonna ramp down, and there's these 2 retaining walls. Do you have any plans for anything ornamental on those, like a tile or anything more than plaster, or?
Courtney and I, or do you want to touch on that a little bit? We were bouncing some ideas on what it
Seems
would
like
look
an
like driving
opportunity.
down that.
See the stone. So here you may be able to see, we'd like to get vines up onto the walls.
To spill in?
Yes, and we've also kicked around the idea of an art intervention potentially. TBD. But
Thinking
right
about it.
now, I think planting, and we're definitely thinking
Okay,
about that
okay.
experience. Yeah.
All right. All right, any other questions before we roll into comments? All right, let's roll into comments. Who wants to kick us off? And so this is for in-process review. And so let's make sure we focus on especially the things that we gave them comments on and what their solutions are. So let's comment on those things, as well as any other additional pieces that we feel are important to capture. And since no final appealable action is going to take place, we're just kind of summarizing these comments and then going from there. And
I'll give it a go.
all right, go for it.
First, thank you for the hard work to move this project along. I like the direction it's going. I am not as pessimistic as my commissioner to the right about the venting situation on the wall. I know, you've got a smart team, you're going to figure it out. And I think you've heard us that we, like you want them to disappear. So there's a lot of parameters around making that work, but I'm confident that you're going to solve the problem. I don't have any issues with your pot de cochere or how you've treated the balcony elements going from wood to plaster and simplifying it. Clearly, you've been driven to develop a project where the rooms are affordable. I guess ostensibly to the common man, not the one who drives a Bentley, but the one who drives a Chevy. And so your building needs to be detailed in a very simple, clean, inexpensive way. So I appreciate the direction it's going.
Who wants to jump in next?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Butler.
Okay, so I would support the previous comment about it, the directions you're headed in. I think that's good. You changed the gable roof to hip roof. I think that's a significant change and was an improvement. Removing the wooden balcony, and these are my comments, so it may not be architecturally specific, but, which I think looks more design integrated. So it looks a little more integrated to the overall design. The tower, you made it a little beefier, removed the false chimneys. I think that's good. Remove some of the chimneys. I thought the windows were bigger, but I think the windows look good. Okay. Let's see. So here's, on the larger scale, as I look at this, and it is in the EPV and it is Santa Barbara, I just feel that we need to try to move it more to Santa Barbara. I could be in San Juan Capistrano and see this. I could be in a number of other Southern California locales and see very similar, and I recognize it's a hotel, so that's a challenge, okay? But I think if you could give it some thought about how really make it so that I know I'm in Santa Barbara. For example, the awnings. Rather than the green, we've got this bluish green that is just screams Santa Barbara. That's our color, and you'll find it in our design guide. Some way to move in that direction with some of the little touches to the building. The awnings were the first thing that come to mind. Yeah, dark brown or dark green or whatever, you know. So that
But
was.
are you also thinking canvas then, more traditional
Well,
canvas
I
awnings?
would, you know, I would, for obvious reasons. Now, I recognize there's a cost incurred with that because they fade and they have to be replaced and all that. But frankly, correct. I would make more. It's a little hard to tell where the awnings are. So, but awnings are great. Canvas, more to our colors, and really move it color-wise into the EPV color design would be appreciated. And then some use of tiling and design and other elements, call-out points, detail points throughout the building. And again, I recognize it's a hotel and it's a huge building. I drive by this location every day. I notice the lot's cleared out. I can't buy any more teak wood there anymore. It's gone. And there's still a couple of outbuildings still remaining, I think, to be removed, but the lot's pretty much cleaned up, right? But anyway, anyway, in general, I like the direction. I think this is a good step forward. I would just like to see us make an effort to move this more so that I know I'm in Santa Barbara as distinctive. And there's a lot of opportunity I think you might have. You're the creative types.
All right. Commissioner Lodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I concur with Commissioner Butler's comments. I think it's going in the right direction. The changes you've made have been improvements, but it needs to be, well, as some members of the commission have said, more poetry.
Santa Barbara poetry.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. Commissioner Ensberg.
I guess I can go. Yes, thank you. Yes, absolutely, thank you. It's a huge amount of work. It's a very, very important, large project in a very important location. So thank you so much. I absolutely agree with Commissioner Butler, and as you know, you're going to expect that I'm going to always talk about the color because that's my thing. But so I agree with that, and I would. Well, I'll just kind of go through my little list here. I liked it how it was before, but I like how you have done it now, and I understand why you have done it the way you have. You have simplified it, and I think you've made it more affordable and less cost. So I think that you've done it in a really beautiful way, and it works. So I don't have a problem with that, but I did like it before. I love the Monterey style. I like the dark wood and all that kind of those kinds of elements, but I do not have a problem with the way you've gone, and I support it. I like the stone that you've put in there. I like in the landscape the DG element in particular. I really like that's very Santa Barbara, earthy feeling. I think that as I said, I think the pool is going to be very popular. They always are. And I think it's too small, and maybe you even want to have another pool. I don't know if you could put one over at the event lawn or something like that, but I think it's going to be a super popular thing, and you're going to be taking numbers for who gets to be at the pool. Well, then you won't have to worry about that. But it is always, especially when you're on vacation, you want to go hang out at the pool, and so. On the gates, I think both the ones that you have, either one, they're both nice, so I would support either one. I like that they're wood and painted. On the awnings, yes, I think Commissioner Butler mentioned it, but the thing about the canvas is they're so romantic, and especially when they have the drop and you get the flutter of the wind. It makes you really connect with nature. It makes you feel like, oh, the ocean breezes, it captures them. And so there's that whole experience is something that I think is worth the cost. I know it's less expensive to do the metal ones, but it just doesn't have that same romantic feel about it. And also, I think to kind of keep you from getting too institutional feeling, that's why the color and some of these other things we're talking about are really important in my view. The vents, I also agree, we can look at the Baylor building, those beautiful vents that are on the Baylor building. Those are not going to be the ones you're going to do, I realize, with the beautiful swans on them. But, there's a lot of really cool, vents that you can do that would be decorative. And they don't have to disappear. They can be a thing. They can be an element. What's that? What was that I heard? What was that I heard over here? I think you can, you guys can do something that can be interesting and do what it needs to do. And then let's see, the ramps to the drive, I would not worry about that. I mean, that's just, you're going down into the drive. It's not the main experience. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on doing anything there in particular, although I respect the comments that others have said. And yeah, so I guess just details and decoration, what those are, and definitely, how do we know it's Santa Barbara? And I think, like, when I was driving up here today for this hearing, the sun on this white building with those beautiful turquoise awnings, it just really is gorgeous, and it makes you feel like you're on vacation. So thank you again, and great job, and looking forward to it.
All right. Other comments? Commissioner Landvik?
Yeah, thank you. I think this scheme is a better scheme than the prior one, and I think it's, I appreciate your simplification, and I like it a lot. I think there's a lot more you need to show us from the standpoint of detailing and such, but I like it a lot. And I too am concerned about the awnings, and I think they can add a lot to the building, and right now they don't do that, and I think they should do it. I'll be interested in seeing what your vent system looks like, and I hope that it's going to be, as back and unobtrusive as possible. I agree with the fact that I think the pool areas are tight. That's not an architectural thing. It's simply a comment on use. And I think they're going to get a lot more use, particularly people who are extended stay. You don't get up in the morning and leave and then come back, after you had dinner someplace and go to bed when you're extended stay. You want to be able to hang out, and I don't see that hangout being comfortable in the pool arrangements we currently have. The other comment that I would make is regarding the porte cochere and the entry area. I think it is very tight, and I Friday afternoon, you're going to have cars stacked up there trying to get in and register. People don't come to the hotel and go in the garage and then go and try to find where the registration desk is. I think it's going to be a real battle for parking in that entry area.
Coming and going.
Yeah, it's just going to be real battle, and I don't know how you can solve that. I think architecturally, I don't think the reception area stands out enough. The only thing that makes it stand out now is a little bit of porte cochere that's there. I mean, the window system and such, I don't think lends itself to a hotel reception area where bags stack up and people are moving back and forth. There's no bar here apparently, so they're not going to.
No, there's a bar.
Okay, then people will be
whiskey.
People will be dilly-dallying around in the reception area with a beer after the long drive and waiting to register, and I just think that it's a conflicted area, which maybe you can solve with architecture, maybe you can't, but I'm not sure that the truss porte cochere structure is the best solution as opposed to something which is lighter and more.
And actually, let me jump in on that, because that was one comment I'll just turn it into a little more of a conversation. So that was the only point I was going to add to what the other commissioners have said was, I think my question would be maybe a hip or something else. I'm just not sold on the truss as a truss as a gable for this building look, it's a little bit, I mean, I know you're going with it, but it seems like there might be a better solution in there. That might be either a hip or something else in combo that it's looking good. It seems to be going in a good direction, but that trussed gable just seems a little bit odd. I don't know if what yours.
Well, maybe your suggestion of a hip matches the hip that's on the roof that it's attached to.
Yeah.
And maybe that element is actually stone, so that it says, here's the entry.
You mean
the piers?
You mean the columns?
That building element.
itself.
That.
Oh.
So that it says, here's
Two-story.
here's the entry.
So it pops out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. Anyways, but I wanted to throw it out to the rest of the commission too. If I was the only one, then we wouldn't include it in the comments, but is that element seems so.
I didn't want to go there with it, but I agree with you. It feels a little bit, yeah, like it doesn't quite
Yeah,
fit there,
okay.
and it does seem, I really appreciate Commissioner Lenvick's comments too, just, sort of this larger place where you know that you go, and just sort of a
Very
larger
obvious.
statement about it or something, but, yeah.
But you're okay with it roofed as opposed to the original trellis?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I think in some ways that's even better because it
It's a big
sheds
shadow.
shelter.
Me,
So we can,
it's your first impression.
Yeah.
when you Pull up somewhere.
Well, plus,
right?
you
Yeah, and
you
you're
can only
covered,
pull
so
that in
if
one
it is-
place. I mean, it's not that mysterious as to where.
It feels a little craftsman-y, so.
that's maybe what the trussing is
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah, okay. So, but I think that's at least, okay, so I'll include that as a comment just to continue to study it. Okay. And then, okay, and then other.
Yeah, I'll
commissioner-
comment.
Yeah,
Is Ed, were you done? Just want to be sure. Okay.
yeah, of course.
No, please don't.
Well, I'd like to pick up on Commissioner Butler's comment
Call me
about
whatever you want.
about Santa Barbara, the Santa Barbara-esque or lack of esqueness of the project. And I always when I drive through Camarillo, and there's these buildings that have no, the penetrations have no depth. Like some of them literally have plaster, turns into glass, turns.
Face frames.
So I always think of Santa Barbara as these really thick adobe walls really make it much more authentic. So that would be a thought on that. And then secondly, I think everything's simplified to the better, and all the upgrades seem very nice. I like the way you moved that everything's not white, but around the Monterey, you've changed the color more to the tan as in that area. That I really like that. Let's see, I like the bike racks. Then they're not the big 4-inch super pipe that just becomes a huge element. They're very benign, and I like that. And the gates and pots I would leave to you. And you know what you're doing, and all, yeah. So I think it's and then of course that I agree with the smallness of the pool, but that's not really that's an operational thing, not an aesthetic that we're supposed to be involved with. Thank you.
Okay. Vice
One
Chair.
last comment. It seems that we tend to push the applicant toward a romanticized version of a George Washington Smith building with all the depth and detail and swishy-swashy and et cetera, But in reality, this project is shooting to be an affordable hotel, so you can't make an affordable hotel and then ask the applicant to apply George Washington Smith detailing to it, because those two do not reconcile.
Unless it's El Hogar, his first house.
Well, it could be, and that's what we're asking. We're asking for simple.
Simple box.
So I'm comfortable with prominent windows being red in a deep wall and field windows in the rooms not so much, because you're going to have to find the balance where you read it and then you let it go.
And just for clarity, how thick are your walls in general?
Well, we know that we've got to have, a good recess at the typical window, and what we've talked about is that basically there's a hierarchy. As the windows get bigger, there needs to be more recess, right?
You could touch them and walk right by them.
Yeah, nice. Okay, great.
Way up high.
Yeah. Okay.
So I get
I
it.
have
Yeah.
a further comment, but if somebody's going to put up a building in the EPV, we don't say, well, I don't have a lot of money, so you can do something not great. We don't.
We tell people with lots of money to go away. I'm just kidding. No, but I think to everyone, to both of your points in this issue, the wall is going to be deep enough. It's going to be at least 2 by 6, probably 2 by 8.
At least.
And so there's going to be a decent level of reveal proper for EPV. No matter what, and then on the even more important areas that are bigger and heavier, they'll have an appropriate
Like these
level.
arched
depth.
windows that we have here on the left, that's important for that to be a good 18-inch kind of a recess, right? Because of the size of those openings.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it is there, and but it's also so. Yeah.
Can we, regarding budget, I think it is, I can tell you, this is going to be a continual challenge for this team, because yes, it is a moderate-priced hotel. So gutters are really, copper gutters is going to be a big expense for this, and I'm wondering if you guys are open to going with, either a painted gutter or even, we've done in a
Galvanized.
couple of examples on the project on De La Guerra, we did bonderized metal, which actually works pretty well, I wanted to just get your openness to
I'm
the
okay with
gutter
it.
material.
'Cause I see the challenge. You can't spend $5 million putting copper gutters on a building that you want to rent the room for $198 a night, so. Spend that money elsewhere where we'd see a bigger return.
Right. Can I, I want to just, I think, we're, certainly, no, it's not the courthouse. But we're trying to give you just thoughts about, where to put the focus, where to put, so like you have texture of the walls, you have the color, you can get a lot of bang for the buck with a color, and it doesn't cost you more money to do that. You've got sills on the windows, you have everything that you need. I am completely in support of not copper gutters, totally. I think you can do that. I think you've got landscape, you've got texture, you've got color. You can put the focus on the porte cochere, what we were just talking about a little while ago. So I think that's at least that's what I'm hearing from the commission, that we're all trying to give you different places of where to put your money to make it feel like you're in Santa Barbara, regardless of whether it's how, so that it feels like it belongs here, but not to overdo it. So I totally get it, and I think that's why you've done these excellent simplifications to the architecture as a whole. So, and also the landscape revisions that you've made, I think it's really working. So, make it simple, but use more color to get more of that poetry thing we keep talking about. And,
Okay.
you're
And
doing
then
great.
to the rest of the commission as well, just to confirm, is everyone in general okay with looking at alternatives to copper gutters? Okay, I put it as a note then. Okay, great. Any other last comments? Commissioner Butler and then Commissioner McClure.
I just want to acknowledge, because we're talking about some affordable housing units,
That's true.
right? I don't want to miss that point, because these things come to us all the time, and it's like, well, where are the people that are going to work there? Where the heck are they going to live? Now, I recognize that at least it's encouraging, from my personal view, to see that this particular project incorporates affordable housing in part of the
Employee
project.
housing.
So I want to commend that to the project, because it's such a controversial, housing is such a challenge for us. So can we get 10 instead of 6?
No.
Okay, how about 20?
And a bigger pool. and a pony.
Anyway, I just didn't want to miss that because that is a vital
Thank you.
component to
Appreciate
this.
it.
Because this will require a bunch of new people to work there, right? So whether they'll come locally or whatever, they'll need, anyway, I'll stop there, but I thought that.
Yeah, I
Commissioner
have a
McClure?
question. Did the planning commission allow this sort of to happen if it's affordable? Or is there a
Well,
memo
no,
on that?
the affordability really came about as a result of the negotiations with the Coastal Commission.
I see.
And it did go to the Coastal Commission on appeal. The Planning Commission really was the body that initiated the affordable housing. They asked for some component
So
of
there's an
affordable
affordable
housing.
housing component, but that doesn't mean, there's no conditions on how much you can charge for a room.
Well, there is essentially a deal with the Coastal Commission that
Really?
does do that, yes.
Wow, that's really getting pretty,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
Wow, okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else before I try to simplify it, summarize it? All right. So I'll summarize our comments as follows. All right. So first, we want to thank you for continuing to develop this project extremely well. It's going in a great direction, and we're very supportive of it. And these are additional notes, and yet to come back with addressing these. So first, the color scheme, and I'll just say color scheme and material palettes are acceptable currently as presented. So everything, I didn't hear anyone worried about any of the color or palette. I'll get into specifics of other additional color and things like that, but at least the ones that are proposed, pots included, gates, those are in general supportable as. Yeah, okay.
Can I just say, I
do have additional notes
Commissioner
about-
Butler did mention about brighter colors
Yeah.
that were more Santa Barbara in feeling
Yeah.
and not,
I'll actually fold into that one as part of this too, to continue to study and develop. So I just want to make sure that the colors that they showed are not color and materials that they're showing, and plant materials too. We'll say plant and color. All the palettes right now are good and going in the right direction. Now we're going to specify more about additional colors and including Santa Barbara blue and things like that as options for this, and it's going to get in the minutes. So we're going to know for next time as they come. I just don't want them to say we can't use this green at all because we said to change something. You know what I mean?
well, okay, I just,
Are you concerned
I'm finding
about that?
my concern has been that what happens is that we do not ever get any bright colors. Everything is going into these khaki colors, brown, dark green. That's where we end up. And it's not to say those are terrible colors or anything like that. It's just not Santa Barbara. And it's not my experience of Santa Barbara or, where, we have this thing called
Okay.
Santa Barbara blue.
So
I
is-
just
are
want to,
there-
as long as it's heard and that it is, seriously considered, maybe it's a fashion thing that we're just kind of into everything's black now. But I really feel that it's important to, black and white?
Yeah. You're one to talk. You busted. I know your art.
So, I just want to be sure that it's really a
Okay, how
strong.
about this? We'll say is generally acceptable with the additional comment that we would like to see colors that are more Santa Barbara themed and brighter to study. Colors that are more Santa Barbara themed and brighter.
So can I just ask a question? For example, I mean, what we see on the screen here is what was proposed was a brown window. So that's an example where you would want to see color used instead of brown.
I want to say potentially because first one, this building is large and there's different buildings there's different colors even of different buildings and there's different stories that you're telling with it. So I don't want to necessarily say like one size fits all. And it might be that you leave these brown and then there's color somewhere else that pops a whole other section out. So I think that there's at least if we give general direction, obviously using the Santa Barbara approved El Pueblo Viejo color swatches and guides as
Our guideline color.
Yeah, which has a range and it has stuff that's a little more muted and it has stuff that's brighter. So and it needs to be applied to the project in a careful way. So I don't think we need to get too specific at this moment, but
Right.
just,
Window A should be.
Yeah,
We don't wanna
exactly.
we don't, I mean,
Exactly.
even here, the building we were referring to, these are, you know,
yeah, we can't, look,
lines
we
with
can't
the
throw
blue.
stones
So, I
when we
mean,
have.
we want to leave,
We're in bland.
we want to leave
Yeah.
it open for
We
the,
leave it bland.
for you guys to work it out.
I would like a more standard window frame color, and then add those pops of color everywhere else.
Yeah, so,
Tiles.
yeah, so I want to leave it just more general and saying in
Okay.
general, the color scheme and material palette is in general acceptable with the additional comment that we would like to see studies with more color and specifically more Santa Barbara color and vibrant color, because those are some of the things. Now, we're not, you've heard all the comments on it, so it's go out and study and come back. If you feel very strongly about something and you say, we studied it, we really didn't, this is where we want to land, then we can make that decision. But I think in general, everyone is not strongly offended by a green or a brown.
Would it be fair to let you get through all your comments without us
Yes.
litigating every single one of them?
Yes,
Because
just
we've
because we
already-
have
we've
2
already
more
had the
hours
discussion?
doesn't mean we need to actually
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
So that's true. So let's get through, and then we'll talk about any adjustments to it. So, all right, so that was on color and material palette. The next is on venting. So venting on the wall is, so we'll just say the venting, we understand that they're studying how to make the venting on the walls to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible. And then you can try to minimize, you can try to decorate, you can try to do different things, but you know where we're going with it. Make it look good. Okay, so the portico share, to continue to study the portico share, it's going in the right direction. The tile roof is supportable, and to study the gable end, perhaps turning it to a hip or other design direction, but to make the portico share and the entrance to accentuate it more. And we heard another comment about the stone, but I don't want to put things in particular. You've heard from us, but just to
Study it.
yeah, study it. And okay, we talked about making it. Okay. So the next is on details and elaboration, including color, awnings, which actually we should say awnings, which we would like to see as canvas instead of metal, and to study making in general more the building have a more Santa Barbara look, Santa Barbara poetry. We'll use it with additional details that have color and tile or other things that make it very clear that you're in Santa Barbara, not another coastal city. Let's see, we commented on the stone and DG, or the stone, the material palette, gates. We got operation. Yeah, so landscape, the change in direction from the lawn is acceptable.
We don't live in Plainview, right?
Yeah, that's true. But we're uptight in Plainview sometimes. But this solution, yeah, maybe we should live in Plainview. But this solution is supportable, and we understand for use reasons that it makes sense. And the general developments of the landscape are very supportable and going in a great direction. We are also open to seeing alternatives to the copper gutters, and understand that the cost is a concern. And we also understand that while the operations of the pool is not in our purview, we were concerned that the pool might not be large enough, but we also understand the other competing concerns or competing needs of the building and project. So, is there anything else to add? Or a waiting line?
Valid pool.
Mr. Chair, I think we should also, you should also mention, and we haven't talked about it, lighting, exterior lighting.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to light these buildings up because now you're lighting the interior of the rooms. So how do we light the building or the architecture and have it come off well? You got to do a lot of plant lighting, But I think as you move towards the entry, the portico share area, that's where you're gonna have to expose the building to a lot of light. And maybe some corners or whatever, but you're not gonna be able to light the whole darn front of the building because you destroy the sleeping quality in the space. But I hope that Brian can really pluck something out of his brain on this portico share thing. I don't know that it needs to be traditional even, personally. It could be very contemporary.
Don't go there.
I'm trying to find a way to get light in there, have a light thing, something that makes cars feel comfortable, because there are gonna be a lot of them there, and I just.
Okay, so let's just put it as study lighting as you go forward, especially for the portico share and main entrance.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then this is not a one to add as a note, but I do want to just make this general observation based on years past and other huge projects when you have a design architect and an architect record, which I'm assuming the relationship here. It is really going to be important that the detailing on your set is really integrated well with what we're used to and expect from our details to really look like traditional details, even though they have to meet California Building Code. So that's going to be very important to get those things right. So, all right, that's just off the record, but on the microphone. All right. So any other?
Do we need a motion?
Yeah. Any other? I just want to make sure we don't need to add to that list, and we do need a motion after that.
Is it appropriate or not about the ramp thing? I don't know how everybody felt about that. There was discussion about.
I think they heard it, but I don't think we have a clear direction of I think as they develop it.
It's okay for them to not go crazy with it, and they can keep it simple, which is
Yeah,
what I was trying to say.
I think as they develop it, and whether there's plants going over and a stone or whatever, I think that we'll see it as it comes to life more, and then we can, okay.
The Garden Street on-ramp is a good example of vine spilling in it, and it works pretty good.
Yeah, then you save on stone. Just grow vines all over it. All right. And does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that that 101 Garden Street project be indefinitely continued with those comments.
Second.
All right.
And you recommend they continue to come back?
Oh, they'll come back, yeah, because,
I mean, I think it would be a good idea to
come back in progress
with
for
details.
Yeah.
so
I think
that
you're
when
definitely going to want to do
When we get to final,
yes,
it'll be smooth sailing.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the smart way. I mean, you're not ready for 2 weeks to come back with all this detail. All right. Okay. So indefinite continuing with those following comments, and to come back in progress, but for an indefinite continuance. All right. And then maker of the motion second. Good with that. All right. Under discussion. Any further discussion? All right.
Just thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah. All right. Roll call vote.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner McClure,
Yes?
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes?
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
job, guys. Yeah. All right. And with that, I think we're good. So we are adjourned.